My first novel by Joe Hill was Nosferatu, which I luckily picked up before I knew he was the son of Stephen King. My feelings on so-called Nepo babies have softened over the years, but a part of me will always be a young writer convinced that it's just unfair for some people to have such a head start on the rest of us. Then I got older and more fully understood that's just how the world works, through money and connections and influences. Though I admit I still have a little kernel of bitterness as a person who came from none of those. Still, none of us control who we were born to, and in the end, we all should be judged on what we do, not where we popped out of. And over the years, Hill has proven to be a solid horror writer in his own right, which makes it funny that his latest novel, King's Sorrow, is a pure homage to the massive horror fantasy tomes that made his father one of the most successful writers in history. Back in 1989, student Arthur Oakes finds himself ensnared in a criminal plot to steal rare books from his college library. He bands together with his friends to bring a powerful being into existence, the dragon, King Sorrow, to free him from his tormentors. That freedom comes with a price. Every year at Easter, the group must choose a person to die, or else King Sorrow will devour them instead. Hill firmly plants himself in his father's worlds, with references placing his characters in the same timeline as his dad's early novel, The Dead Zone, and he includes a riff on Firestarter. Generally, this all works pretty well, although a few times it dips into the sweaty, as when he notes of a nighttime drive, it was full dark, no stars. For those of you who may not have read that Stephen King collection. Despite the 800 plus pages, King's Sorrow moves along at a sustained clip, though it flags here and there as it navigates a fairly large cast of characters with shifting allegiances and secret alliances. Hill isn't afraid to let some of his main characters be somewhat terrible, and a couple outright monstrous. There is another villain related to the initial book theft scheme who hovers around the edges of the narrative in a very Kingian way, especially because that villain's denouement is rather anticlimactic. If you're missing this style of novel from King as he continues his focus on crime novels and Holly Gibney, then Joe Hill has put together a healthy dose of the classic just for you.